So I've pretty much completed this part of the project because most of it was just the same. So now I'll go down here to show this part to you, and the process itself might take you about 2 or 3 weeks to complete these parts. And I've also copied all of the models and the files, and I've put them for you, and you can also use them if you want. And then the only part that remains are the water pipes, which are 5 layered, which we've done as you can see here. And the important point here is the collision between the 5 layer pipes. You shouldn't actually take these into account as clashes because the 5 layered pipes are actually flexible when you're implementing them. And because they don't have any limitation, you can move the connection from above this or below it. And in some cases, it has its own special fitting that you can use here. And it's basically nothing important, so we don't take it as a clash. And we just basically draw them. And if there are any issues, we can easily fix them in implementation. But up to this point, we've solved as many issues as possible. But we'll also move the project into the Navisworks as well, and we can record the clashes based on clash matrix, which I've prepared for you here. And the process of preparing these was time consuming itself, but we've tried to gather up the files with as much detail and quality as possible. And you can get a summary of them if you need to, because I've gone into a lot of details. For the ones that have the higher priorities, we can work them together. And for example, I'll put a key over here, and you can also do it right next to here yourselves. Create a charge and name it key. But I'll try to create a separate file myself. And as an example, in this part, we can do the same thing that we did for the LOD charts. We can implement that here. For example, for this field, I'll name legend, and I'll name this one color, for example. Although it does have the key group itself, so I'll put this under key or whatever you want, description. So now let's see what we can do about these. I'll have these two. Bring this over here, and then let's increase this. And there we go. All right, let me just select these one more time. And all right, I think it's better this way. So let's just say we're going to use the color red for the first field, the legend. Then the next one's going to be yellow or orange or whatever, and the next one's going to be blue, and then green for the fourth one, white for the next one, and then gray here. These are your key colors, which you can use throughout the chart here, and instead of colors you can also use texts, whatever it is you prefer. For example, if I've selected red for here, it means that the clash of this row and this column needs to be coordinated. So then we can go to the coordination. But for this one here, I want to assign this as a duplicate, and it's the same as the gray one here. So we're gonna have to change the color of this one. Let's go over to more colors, and let's see what we can make up here. For example, this cream or whatever. I'll hit OK, and all right. And then after that, we'll go to the column B. And we'll say, for example, wherever we have the color red, there needs to be some coordination, and we can assign it as our hard clash symbol, clashes that are involved. And you can also use words and letters. For example, we can put an H for this one here, and also for the column B, I can put in a text as a sort of the description. For the red color, I'll put in here, it always needs coordination, or coordination is necessary. Now the next color that we have is orange here, and This could signify it could be a problem sometimes, but not always. And it's one level lower on our priority charge. And for description, we can also put in sometimes it needs assessment. And then for the blue one, I can put in rarely needs coordination or assessment. And for the green one, this signifies that it's not always dependent on the structure and it doesn't really need any coordination. And I can also put in not related as an example for the description. So put in not related here, and the whole course on relation, if it's related or not, we'll talk about it later in collisions. And all right, for the last one, I'll just put in duplicate. And we can also use numbers for these as well. I'll create a field here under D, and I'll put in numbers, for example, the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the last one. And instead of the colors, I can choose the numbers. For example, wherever we see the number 1, it means we have a hard clash, and it's the same meaning as the color red. And coordination is necessary. Now this is to your preference. You'll realize what is necessary to put in for the fields here and what method to use. So now we can go ahead and work based on the BEP video that I showed you before. Make sure to give that a watch and figure out the process of Excel. But for now, I'll assign these numbers to the colors. And in the chart, when I'll put in 1 here, it means the color red and reverts back to that. And then this can be done automatically. So make sure to do this so that when we move to Navisworks later on, the chart will be ready to use. If you configure the chart once, you can use it later on for all of your projects. And as I've already explained to you, I've really chopped up the chart and put in as much categories as possible for you. And you can categorize this as well or make it a bit more general. Or you can isolate the different parts, the structure, the mechanical, the architectural, and the electrical as well. That's to your own preference, but make sure whatever column you move around here to move the associated row as well. And then later on, when you're configuring this in a matrix way, you'll know which one you're working on. And we also have the tolerance level that I've assigned to it. I've maximized that. It's on 5 millimeters right now. I think you can change that as well. For example, you can get in 0 tolerance for the ones that are 0, and then 10 and the highest for the ones that are 10. For example, for duct insulation, which has a higher width, you can assign a higher tolerance level. And as I said before, you can do what you prefer. So I'll close this for now, and then we go back to the plan. So in the mechanical part, as we've said, when you've modeled the different parts, you can also do the plan and the cuts and the views for the output as well that we have for the structural as well. And we have the same thing going for the facilities as well. So as you can see, we've separated all these different disciplines here. For example, for the sewage parts, we'll go over here and open up the sewage. And now from the first level, you can control these levels just like the AutoCAD file. Let's wait for the plan to open up. So then we'll hide all the unnecessary items and just keep the base plan